My brother Terry is nonverbal. Terry can still be challenging to look after. He will experience meltdowns if something makes him uncomfortable, such as a food texture he doesn't like, or he'll throw fits if he can't have his way. Terry has broken holes in the walls during his meltdowns and fits, and I'm honestly afraid of him whenever he becomes destructive that way because he's larger and stronger than me. I had been parentified when I was about a teen because my parents expected me to handle Terry's needs whenever they were busy or needed a break, which was often. I've been upfront with my parents that I still hold resentment towards them because of this, and that Terry should not have been my responsibility to the extent that they made him. My parents insist their parenting was perfect and are unwilling to alter their viewpoint. I've told them that I'm not going to be Terry's caregiver and to not leave him with me. Unfortunately, my parents know where I live. Recently, my parents have begun ringing my doorbell, telling me to watch Terry, and then leaving before I can say anything. Then I'd have to cancel my plans and wait on the porch with Terry until they returned. When they came back, I told them all 4 times to stop doing this, but was ignored every time. Finally, I was forced to call out of work for the most recent drop-off incident. Finally, I lost my temper with my mother when she came to pick Terry up and told her that if she or my father tried to leave Terry with me even one more time, I would call Adult Protective Services and report Terry as abandoned. A few days later, my mother again dropped Terry off on my porch and took off, so I followed my word and called to report Terry as an abandoned disabled adult. I waited with him on the porch until a social worker came. My parents exploded on me, calling me a horrible daughter and sister. They said they could barely get Terry back and accused me of only caring about myself and wanting Terry to be neglected in a public group home. I snapped at them that Terry would probably be better off in a public group home because they neglect him for their own convenience, and that I'm not going to keep putting my life on pause for their own personal comfort anymore. Now people, mostly friends of my parents, who I barely even knew or remembered before, are bombarding me with messages, calling me selfish. A few have approached me publicly to tell me that I don't give a crap about my brother and I'm ungrateful for all the sacrifices my parents made for Terry and me. I've already changed my phone number, but it's getting so bad that I'm considering applying for a job transfer and moving. Am I the idiot? And are their words toward me deserved? 100% not the idiot. Dropping your disabled brother off on your porch and running off after ringing the doorbell is ridiculous. What if you aren't home or can't come to the door? They're the ones putting him in danger, not you. If it's possible to move, do so. You don't deserve to be harassed. Who knows what version of the story your parents are telling these people? Exactly. And I don't know if Terry's a runner or not, but if he is, he could absolutely be gone by the time OP answers the door. Also, what about the fact that OP has to call out of work when they've done this? Basically, affecting OP's quality of living and finances. Parents are completely selfish and don't care about either of their children. That too, bet OP's parents would only care about OP losing her job because then they'd have an excuse to push her to be a full-time caretaker to Terry. OP should move as far away as possible and get a P.O. box so they can't find her. Your parents wouldn't take proper care of and arrange for proper respite care for Terry. They will now. As for the peanut gallery, reply to every message that they're never to contact you again, and if they do, you'll call the police for stalking. Then screenshot the message so you have proof later. Sounds like there are a lot of other people around who can take Terry. All those who are people harassing OP. Make a form letter and copy and paste it as a reply to all these people. Thank you for your concern regarding my family. We appreciate your help all the more now that I'm working full-time and living independently. I'm currently making a list of people my parents can call when they need someone to watch my brother when I'm unavailable. Please let me know which days of the week would work for you. When they refuse, tell them they need to shut up about how your family takes care of your brother and never speak to you again until they pony up for his care. I, 32 male, am getting married to the love of my life, Julie, 30 female. The wedding is in a few weeks' time, and we've been together for 10 years. I come from a large family with an older sister, Kate, who went pescatarian just before I met Julie. Her 2 kids and husbands are also following the same diet. Julie is very allergic to fish or seafood, so if I eat something with fish sauce and kiss her on the cheek, she'll likely end up in a hospital in critical condition. We found this out the hard way. So for our wedding, we only offer 2 meal options: meat, no fish and seafood, or vegetarian, with accommodations for allergies. Kate's kids were allowed to bring fish sandwiches as long as they ate them far away from Julie, and only because of the pressure from the family. Very recently, Julie and I found out we were expecting our first child together. She'll be 12 weeks pregnant at the wedding, and Julie wants to announce her pregnancy on our wedding day. She's not comfortable announcing it sooner due to personal and some work-related issues it can cause. Due to this, I had to call my sister yesterday and tell her that the plans have changed. Her kids, both tweens, were no longer allowed to bring any seafood or dishes containing fish. They would have to suck it up with a vegetarian or meat option, or bring something else that won't trigger Julie's allergy. I haven't told Kate about Julie's pregnancy, as she can't keep a secret at all. Kate is not happy and has called me an idiot and that they're just kids and they don't like veggies. I've told her that it's not my problem, since being pescatarian doesn't mean only eating fish, but other vegetarian-friendly foods too. But Kate's not having it. Our mom prefers not to get involved, but she has hinted I should give in. Not the idiot. I don't even understand why you originally went along with the fish sandwiches. The kids could eat PBJ, cheese pizza, Impossible whatever, or other snacky junk. I'd suspect the fish sandwich move is a power play, unless she has the kind of kids that literally only eat that one thing. The pressure from family to allow fish sandwiches when this is a serious medical issue is definitely giving golden child energy, and I'm inclined to agree about it being a power play. This is when you remind them who has the power regarding your wedding. If this is too difficult an accommodation for you to accept, then perhaps it would be best if you don't attend at all, because the happiness and safety of my wife-to-be take priority over the comfort of your children at our wedding. Good grief, her allergies not reason enough to not have seafood at the wedding in your sister's eyes? What is wrong with people? I know plenty of children who eat vegetables, so she's ridiculous. There are also non-vegetable foods that are also, gasp, not fish or meat. They aren't children, they're dolphins or sea lions. If the kids can't manage one event without their special diet, a sitter may be a better option. Or your sister can choose to die on this hill and miss her brother's wedding. Honestly, even without the pregnancy, the original plan was problematic. What if the kids forgot to wash their hands, or had fish on their faces when they said goodbye to her, etc.? It's your wedding. They can live without a fish for a few hours. My 19 female, oldest sister, 30, has been struggling with infertility for the past 3 years since they started trying for a baby. This Easter, she and her husband made the announcement that they're going to be pursuing IVF and will start a GoFundMe for it. They looked at our parents expectantly and made it quite clear they expected them to front a lot of the cost. We are far from wealthy, and my parents work and save every penny from their labor jobs. I've been working since I was 16 to help support the household and save money to move out. Everyone congratulated them on the decision and wished them luck, but when I got a chance, I told them that they were being selfish for spending money the family doesn't have just to have a biological child, especially since there are so many children out there available for adoption. For context, I was adopted into my family at a young age, so I'm probably very biased about this topic. I think IVF in general is a selfish thing to do, and the fact that they can't even pay for it themselves is the cherry on top. Now my sister won't speak to me, and my family members except one sister is calling me an idiot for saying that. Finally, my one sister says that she understands where I'm coming from. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. It has nothing to do with you if they want to do IVF. They're starting a GoFundMe and hoping the parents help. They're not demanding help. There is a difference. Also, tell your sister to move to Massachusetts. Health insurance in Massachusetts covers IVF. I really hate when people use adopt or foster for people who want to go through IVF. Not everyone wants to go that route, and that's okay. Your sister isn't forcing anyone to pay, and she has every right to set up a GoFundMe account. Stop being so judgmental. Infertility is really hard, and family who judges the path they choose makes it so much more difficult. You overstepped. I think everyone's the idiot here. It is a truly important lesson that you should never comment on someone else's desire to have or not have children and how they might go about it. It's incredibly personal. Infertility is heartbreaking for many. You were absolutely an idiot for what you said. And yes, your history has biased you. It's fine to advocate for adoption. You don't have to call someone selfish while you're doing that. Your sister's an idiot because how you choose to have children should not become someone else's financial burden. But that's still not your conversation to have. That's your parents' call. My sister has 2 kids, a tween girl and a younger tween boy. Their father and my sister were married unhappily before he died. Both were amazing parents who loved their kids, but unfortunately, they didn't work as a couple. Both were so young when they started dating, and then she got pregnant, and they fought to try and make a family work for the kids, but it only made them hate each other over time. Then he died, and my nibblings were heartbroken. They were young, but he was one of their 2 favorite people. My sister remarried about a year ago, and she recently learned she was pregnant. She planned this big photo-perfect announcement with her husband, and the kids to show their excitement for the new baby and the growth of their blended family. My nibblings were not excited, and this was not a happy thing for them. They told my sister they didn't want to be a part of her announcement, and when she asked why, they said that they hated that she was pregnant with someone else's baby, and they didn't want to be a blended family. She was heartbroken. She questioned them on why, and they said her husband was just her husband and not their dad, and this baby isn't dad's, and how they wouldn't have chosen for a baby to come along. It's been weeks now, and my sister's mourning the announcement she planned, and I think she's holding on to some negative feelings towards the kids. She dropped the ball a lot on this because, clearly, she never asked the kids how they felt about her husband or about the changes that had come into their lives. She just assumed they were happy, and now her bubble is burst. The kids told me the other day she was different with them now, and they wondered if they could live with me because they think that their mom just wants her new family now and not them if they don't want the new family. This was when I knew I needed to speak to my sister. She told me how much of a shock it was for her kids to say that they weren't excited and didn't want the family they had. She also told me how much it broke her heart that they didn't make the announcement for her. Now she won't be able to show the baby this exciting, loving announcement as they get older, and she won't be able to show how the whole family was excited about their arrival. I told her she needed to let go of the fact that she won't get her announcement as she wanted it. She has 2 kids who need her, and she needs to help them through this because they think that everyone would be better off if they lived with me, which is not good for them to feel that way. She told me I was being unfair and piling on about something she was upset about. I told her she always told me that being a mom came first, and her kids' needs came first, which meant sometimes adults had to deal with their crap quickly. I told her that was what her kids needed right now. She told me I came down too hard, but I think it sort of worked. She's still not happy with me though. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I can't imagine how oblivious or detached someone must be to be planning a pregnancy announcement and still not know how her own children feel. It's not like they're that young either. Both are more than old enough to voice their opinions. The kids' reaction and their mother's shock are enough evidence that she has been the idiot. Maybe it's just a massive oversight, and she was so blinded by the new marriage and pregnancy that she forgot she already had older kids with their own thoughts and opportunities. Or is she really trying to just replace them with a new family? I don't know. Either way, she dropped the ball hard, and your comments either served as a wake-up call or just called her out. I call that type of parent plug and play. Lose your spouse, find a new one, and plug them into the slot. Then, of course, the kids will be happy. Someone's filling that empty slot. No need to talk to them about the situation. They're just kids, and they'll adjust quickly. A new baby with a new spouse? No need to talk to the kids, because they'll welcome the new sibling, and we'll all be a big happy family. We see all too many plug-and-play parents, and the emotional wreckage they cause lasts for years, if not decades. Last week, I, 19 female, went home from college for spring break. My cousin Dave and his family were also visiting for spring break. Now, I can't stand Dave because he has a very obnoxious personality. He likes to show off and put other people, especially girls, down. He has a high ego because my aunt and uncle spoil him a lot. He has a weird thing for cars. For example, in our family, we, the kids, have to pay for half of our cars. So he looks down on my brother for driving a used Camry that has dents in it, for example. He also has some really crappy views about women, and he listens to a lot of internet gurus that say derogatory things about women. The people he follows also blame the natural consequences of their actions on some shadowy secret matrix of some sort. Since my cousin also spews points about not trusting women pilots or saying that men own women, I decided to ask him one simple question. I said that you seem to talk about the matrix a lot and about taking the red pill and seeing the reality for what it really is. By any chance, do you know who created the movie, The Matrix, on which everything you're saying is based on? He said he didn't. I responded that 2 women did. So women are responsible for a core tenet of your top G's philosophy. He then looked it up and started to say something else, but was drowned out by the group's laughter. His expression was just too iconic. Now, however, my aunt is saying that I was too mean to him, which I think is ridiculous, and she says I'm acting too much like a man. I honestly don't know how to respond to something like that, but being criticized like that by a woman I ordinarily respect a lot is making me second guess putting Dave in his place that rudely. Maybe I could have been a bit more civil about it, but I'm glad I did it though. There's just some lingering doubt. My aunt says I'm acting too much like a man. And there we have it. Aunt is a misogynist bigot, and she raised a misogynist bigot son. Of course she's going to have an opinion about you putting down her precious baby. The good news is, her opinion doesn't count. You're not the idiot. And reevaluate your opinion of your aunt, please. So, the person who created the monster defends her precious baby against being contradicted. So, pointing out facts is mean now? I don't even know what she's possibly labeling as manly, but since she has such a low opinion of women, that sounds like a compliment. Also, the Matrix was made by 2 trans women and is a trans metaphor. He was drowned out by the group's laughter? No one else thought it was mean or undeserved? Then Dave needs an internet detox. Most of the men I know who think like this also rely on a woman for most of their financial, emotional, and housekeeping needs. Every time they bring stuff like this up, I remind them that they're the most dependent men I know. They'll never learn because they get a moment of, well, bluster and then follow it up with hours of voice chats where they hate women and blame them for being bums. Go, OP, destroying the reality he naively lived in. But I'd apologize to your aunt that you're sorry You pointed out she raised a man who thinks she's worth less than he is and is ignorant to boot. Unfortunately, internalized misogyny is a very real thing. Some women are full of self-hate and project it onto other women.